Gaboo spoke in class. Excuse me, hello. I don't care! Okay, let's go to the Monster Association. Word disassociation. That's a throwback. Did I go to the wrong one? No. Okay, there we go. Breeder rank B. Yay! Okay. Thank you very much. I've never heard of altered monsters. Brr, brr, brr. I'm Karn. Rio versus Holly, who would win? Like in a fist fight? I got kicked out of school is the whole thing. I was being a big jerk or something, I don't remember. Why are the fuck are you crying again? I don't care. This game really does have like G-rated meat and fuck adventure vibes. Like, you can't get around it. Why does she look like that? Especially this guy. The Bugle Inn. I'm saying, right? Like, what's up with this game, man? Every single, like, shopkeeper and, like, person you can talk to in the game has a different, like, friendly... Well, we'll say friendly. That's the easiest way to describe it. Appearance after you've spoken to them, like, 50 times or 20 times or something. And, yeah, it's certainly something. They really wanted to make the game like a dating sim. Is that not how things work when you talk to people more? Right, but, like... Is that a fun mechanic for your video game? You have to beat 100 super bosses first? That's before I'll talk to you. You're not on my radar until then. Entry guide in Monster Hunter 2 is like that somewhat, only holds you in high regard when you're a high breeder rank. That's true. Alright, yeah, look at that. Another monster with just like perfectly average stats. Love it. Cool sound effects, plant. Tried to hit me with the yam yam. What's the yam yams? Yam yams are the power that be. Tech names or something else, yeah. The half of them are like translated, and some of them are just like transliterated. Why does this monster have the same stats as the plant? There's like reverse laid, baby. Teleports behind you, nothing personnel, kid. You missed though. GG's, you tried. Am I tripping? Does that bird use the same noise as Zoom? No, it's exactly... He has one sound effect, and it's Zoom from Monster Rancher 2. Okay, like, look at this. 248, 225, 246, 248, 220, 235. Every monster we fight is going to have stats that are, like, almost identical to this. It's super, like, obnoxious. Like, it feels very low effort. And remember, this is a Hanger. Hanger is kind of a well-rounded monster. Doesn't have historically good defense, but he's got good speed, he's got good power, he's got good intelligence and skill. And then we'll see Lesion, who Lesion historically has good life, and then kind of like middling other stats. It's kind of like Color Pandora, though not as like life is the only thing it can focus on. Between 205 and 258. The exact same, basically. Cool, man. Genuinely, the worst part about this game is how little personality the enemy monsters you have to fight have. No Ordorf, no Warnmo, no Pirito. Yeah, exactly. Nobody with, like, weirdo stats. Monster Rancher 2, I think, was, like, the right way to do it. Because Monster Rancher 1 was, like, super fucked up. Where it's, like, here's a worm with, like, 500 power and 400 life and, like, nothing else. We made a plant with 800 life and 150 in every other stat. That shit's really funny. But, like, you know, honestly, Monster Rancher 1 is fine. I kind of like that. Monster Rancher 2 is, like, it mostly follows the stat line, and, like, whatever stats the monster is best at are the ones that are the highest. There's no, like, Pixie with high power, for example. So you kind of understand what you're getting into. But the subbreed changes it a little bit. You get stuff like Robanil that ends up being, like, really well-balanced. Even though, you know, it probably shouldn't have any speed. Because it's two monsters with an E gain in speed. There should be at least one monster with weirdo stats in each rank. There kind of is, and we'll see if we run into it soon enough. But, like, that shouldn't be it. Like, you should be, like, trying a little bit harder to, you know. I don't like the rivals in Monster Hunter 3. They jack up one or two of the stats to annoying levels. They play the same way a 10-year-old kid would play. Did I miss the John No-Res Treadmill Factory scene yet? You haven't. We might actually watch that one instead of just mashing through it. Mention the name of the enemy Monster Rancher 2 and we can picture them. That's how good they were. That's what I'm saying. Monster Rancher 1's kind of like that too. Monster Rancher 3 a little bit less so, but I think that's just because people have played it less. You got stuff like Turkey, which is like a really funny monster. It's a, what do you call it, a duckin' that has like 150 life and then like 400 exactly in like every other stat, which is like kind of funny. And there's things like that. But Monster Rancher 4 is like all the monsters are the exact same. It's super boring. I didn't. You didn't rest right. My bad. This guy, right? This is the evil fucker. You can tell because he's got a middle part. And he's ugly. Oh no, the factory farm. Just look at these, the latest training gadgets. More than 60 monsters. And if you can't take the training, well then poof, you get axed. I was gonna say regiment, and then like my brain got stunlocked, but it's regime is the word. But maximum efficiency only made possible by maximum wealth. The best ranch in Ima. No, make that the world. Like it's a little fucking heavy-handed, folks. Like Monster Rancher 2 takes place in Ima. You can only really make this happen if you've got a shit ton of money. Monster's training every week. They attempt to relate it to us, but he's nothing like us. No. Axe, deal. Just what do you think monsters are? They're not replaceable cogs in some machine. The best ranch? You've got to be kidding. Oh, for heaven's sake. I know you're jealous, Nash, but don't get mad at me just because you lack the means to run things like me. Besides, you're only wasting your time if you deal with stragglers. I'm sorry. Hiya! Why I oughta... She punched me. She punched me right in the face. Not even daddy punches me. What else does he do, though? This girl is your responsibility. Make her say she's sorry. What the fuck? Nobody needs to apologize to you. I feel exactly the way Ryu does. But I'm just a little baby. He's too stupid for super babies. I know. He hasn't figured out that you can just make a baby that has like 800 in every stat. Is there any game that Moshi's actually good in? Monster Rancher Battle Card. And Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher. Oh, speaking of, her name being Philia is very funny to me. Anyway, yeah, for whatever reason, every monster at the beginning of the game is like unlocked except for Phoenix and Mochi. We can get a spooky. You make this shit spooky. Oh yeah. 72 on power, hell yeah. A 9 on a 72, he's dying. He's getting old. Got int tablet. What do we get? Stone. Oh, it's Stonehenge. That's right. You know what sucks though? Is getting them. You can only get them appraised once. You can only ever get the tablet. Like, you only ever get it appraised once. You don't get anything for finding it again. But it doesn't remove it from the pool. So you can just get the same tablets over and over again. And it's like completely useless. How's the ranching going in 4? It's going. Our monster's getting ready to die. So we should probably be saving like once every couple of weeks. Especially if we only want to keep one monster. Because the thing you can do is to like kickstart your second monster and get them a bunch of levels early on. Is you get 2 monsters for 1 week. And then when the older monster dies, it doesn't actually proc the counter system mini game tutorial thing to come up. So we can have only 1 monster, like forever, basically. And get like a pretty good boost on our monster for the first week. But see, like every single one of these monsters has the exact same stats. This shit sucks. Schmally Ollie. I got 2 pickles. I got 2 pickles. You guys watch Little Rascals? Love the Little Rascals movie. To this day, I think one of the best visual gags I've ever seen is when they're in the kart racer that has the made out of the washing machine, and they put it on the spin cycle, and the whole thing just starts flinging around. It's such a good bit. They added a bunch of stuff like period appropriate cars that weren't in the game, stuff that dummied out because Gran Turismo 2 was so infamously rushed. What was the time frame between Gran Turismo 1 and 2? GT1 took a few years to make, like 5 or so. GT2 took 3 at most, and they had a lot of issues around the last year, especially for the holiday season 99, so they had a hard deadline at the end of the year. 3 years for a game back then is like a pretty decent amount of time. It's not crazy, but it's not like... But it sounds like they wanted to put in too much and they didn't have enough time for it. Apparently they even offer replacement discs with hot fixes for the game. Some older versions of the game have even have some differences. That's really funny. Probably one of the most infamous glitches is one of the endurance races that was made for like 290 or so horsepower cars. They flipped the car data for one car with another from a higher end endurance race. That's pretty funny. 290 horsepower car, then try and beat a Venturi GT1 car with more than 500 horsepower. You just got to be better. Sounds like a skill issue. We're going to scold and we're going to give them a little bit of food. Some people actually did it too. Simply be extremely good and hope that like the AI like makes a mistake. We scolded him and then we praised him, so he's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Vector was kind of crazy. Imagine a world where that company didn't flop. There's like not a lot of like car companies that have just gone under, right? Like I'm sure there is in like the broad scheme of things, but like when you think about it on the surface, there's not like a lot that come to mind. Quite a lot that felt a big three over the course of U.S. history, sure, but like I guess what I'm saying is like more like in modern times, there's not a lot that have folded. The ones that fail and don't make it, we just don't hear about. I guess that's true, but I just keep thinking like every time I hear about a new car company that's like not one of like 5 or 6 like main companies, I'm like, well, I guess you're allowed to just make your own car. You can just do that. God, that shit's loud. DeLorean's like a funny car because it was like, I can't like look at the Cybertruck without thinking it's like, this is like a dog shit DeLorean, right? Like it's a DeLorean made by somebody who like, whose brain doesn't work properly. There was actually a guy in my town that I grew up with that had a DeLorean, and it was like a very cool in concept car, but it seemed like it was like so awful to own. Like he was not happy with it. Saw a Cybertruck while in Chicago. They always look like they don't belong. But like not in like the way they expect it to be, right? The implication I think if you have one is that it's like, oh, like just making sure I don't fit in type vibes, but like it actually just, they're so ugly, dude. And I kind of like ugly. Like look at this fucker. I love this dude, but it's just like fundamentally maybe the most like classless thing I've ever seen in my life. Back on that day where like, you know, we were talking politics and everyone lost their shit, I said something about the Cybertruck and people got like really pissed off, and it's like, why do you care if I think a car looks ugly? Like, you don't own one, you can't afford one. Why are you mad on behalf of owners? Also, all this shit rocks. Let's go, baby. Out of a cannon, flying, graceful landing. Let's go. Finish on the Cybertruck looks bad, like a prep table in the kitchen. Yes, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like I should be like chopping onions on it. Mixing echo. What about plow kick? 500 damage. Hell yeah. Tesla cars in general are like, for how expensive they are, it's like kind of crazy how like kind of unassuming they are, right? I know they've got like the Roadster that's like $500,000 or whatever, but like just the regular models that they have are, you know, like a good 40K more than their contemporaries, and they look like regular like sedans and wagons. Like they don't look like nothing special about them. They look very generic. It's like a smoother Grand Cherokee for like is it the S? No, fuck, I forget which one the minivan is. But did you hear about Elon being outed for having a boosted account in Path of Exile? I did see the thing about him being like a top 10 player in the game or whatever, and it's like you can't brag about that and talk about like how hard you work, right? Because that shit takes like that's a full-time job. To be like a top level PoE player, you need to be playing like probably 60 plus hours a week. But like you can't run all those businesses in a way that is like actually you are meaningfully, you know, like doing something for the company and also have a hobby like that to that level. Like it's there's literally not enough time in the day. But I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised, right? Like I don't think anybody thinks he's there in office day after day like busting his ass. He has very clearly never even played the game for more than a few minutes prior to that stream. Really? Okay, that's so funny. Why lie about it? Because it makes you look stupid, right? It makes you look like you're a liar. Like I can't even fathom that. If my entire brand was about like how hard I work, and it kind of is, if I'm being honest, so much of like my stream is just talking about like I worked another like 80-hour week. But if I was like also like, hey guys, during that 80-hour week, I also managed to spend 120 hours like grinding fucking, I don't know, whatever. I made like 50 monsters this week while I was also at work, and I only have access to my PC to play the game at home. Like you'd be like, all right, well obviously the math doesn't add up on that, so you're lying about something. And then it turns out that like I was just cheating the whole time. It's like, It's such an unforced error. That's so funny, man. That's so funny. Okay, that was a lot of damage. But what if? I have to do the same thing to you, fucko. Okay, 82% miss? I don't think so. Let's go again. We go again. The problem is, like, power dynamics in a job like that are, like, really awkward. So when I was managing, I did management in audiovisual for 2.5, 3 years for 2 different companies. And then I went back to freelance, like, technician stuff because it wasn't worth it. Because both companies were, like, kind of mismanaged, and, you know, I was being given way more to do than I could possibly handle. But I had this one kid who worked for me, and he worked for me, like, the entire time. He worked for me with one company, and then he followed me to the second company and kept working for me. Almost this entire time, he fucking hated working for me, and he just would not ever mention it. When I was working at the first company, somebody who was, like, working with him was like, hey, by the way, like, this dude, like, it was pissed off the whole day. Like, he didn't want to help out with anything. He was being, like, a huge asshole. Talk to him, because, like, he almost fucked up the whole show. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I brought him in. I'm like, you good? Like, what's good? And he's like, you know, I'm not really progressing at the job as quick as I thought I would. Like, he wanted more opportunities for advancement and stuff like that, and I wasn't really giving it to him. And I was like, all right, you know what? That's my bad. You've been doing a good job. We're going to give you a pay raise, and we're going to put you on some more stuff that, like, you would actually want to be doing. Like, no problem. Like, I apologize for not, you know, maybe doing this sooner. But he never said anything. He never mentioned that he was unhappy. Because I don't know if he was afraid to talk to me, whatever. I feel like I was, like, a really easy, like, lenient boss, so I don't know what the deal was. After that, we moved to another company, and then he came with me as an employee. Then after, like, 6 months, I was like, hey, here's a job. Like, I sent out a mass email to everyone who was working it. And he was like, I never actually got a notification that I was working on this job. If you want your employees to be, like, good workers, you need to, like, give them all the information they need. Like, really, like, catty about it. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so I'm like, I sent him an email. I'm like, hey, here's a forwarded email for when you, like, booked this and you, like, you confirmed that you were available for this date. I didn't want to put you on blast in front of everybody, but, like, what's the deal? And then it was the same thing where it was like he wanted more opportunities and this and that. I'm like, okay, dude, like, I understand. You gotta, like, tell me if something's wrong, though, and then I can help you out. And then I gave him a pay raise, and then, like, again, after, like, 4 months, he's just like, I quit. I can't do this anymore. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I just gave you a raise. We just talked about this, and I'm like, look, if you're unhappy, just, like, let me know, and we'll deal with it. I think that was just, like, the power dynamic is, like, even if your boss is easy to talk to, sometimes it's, like, it's tough. It's tough to tell them no, or it's tough to be like, hey, like, I need to do something about this, especially if you haven't developed those, like, particular skills, right? And so I'm sorry to him for, like, whatever I did to piss him off that bad, but, like, I literally, like, I had no idea, especially after, like, it happened twice. Probably had some other issues outside of work, probably, but I mean, my point is that it's not always easy to talk to your boss, right? I feel like as of lately, people don't want to work. What are you, 90 years old? They don't want to commit to a single job. Yeah, because it doesn't make sense to. Why would you commit to a single job? This wouldn't happen 20 years ago? Probably, yeah, because the entire world was a different place. Like, if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike. Like, I don't know what... Because, like, wages stagnate, like, real quickly. There's not a whole lot of opportunity for advancement at a lot of places in your, like, single job. Like, most places don't promote from within. That's exactly what you're saying, right? But that's like saying, like, it's crazy how things cost more than they did 20 years ago. Like, yeah, they did. You're right. I don't think it has anything to do with people not wanting to work. People have never wanted to work. Also, I'm a little bit outclassed. There's such a big jump from B to A. I always forget. I thought it was the jump was between A and S, but I think the big jump's between B and A. You know, a lot of people who want to work and would get bored if they had no work to do. Is it because they are boring people and they can't, like, they haven't discovered hobbies? Can I survive this? Oh, that didn't do, like, any damage. I think that's the hit tech, right? Yeah. I have 9% chance to hit. I can't even run out the clock. Oh, we hit him anyway. Hell yeah. Nobody wants to work. Kazan just wants to get hit by leg kicks and go to sleep. I understand, like, doing a good job, working on something and doing a good job is, like, it's fine. Like, I get it. I understand. And, like, you know, putting forth your best effort because you get a sense of self-satisfaction from it is okay. But going to McDonald's to do that is, like, that's, like, not wanting to work in, like, a completely different sense. On God, TV or phone time, so if they don't work, mess with their life. Yeah, it's actually really funny because I had a little period this year where I was like, I used to be like that, and a lot of it was because I was working like 80, 90 hours a week every single week, and it was too much to, like, do anything else afterwards. Like, I was just done, right? After the work week was over, everybody's working for the weekend. And I got to a point where during pandemic, I was like, I gotta, like, do something else. So I started learning video editing. I started making the Monster Rancher stuff. I learned how to set up all my stream shit. I kind of already knew how to stream from work, but you get what I'm saying. And it got to a point where I remember thinking, like, I could not imagine just sitting on the couch and, like, watching TV on my phone all day. Because when I would come home from work, I would sit on the couch and I would play, like, Duel Links or something and then go to bed. Play Duel Links till midnight and go to bed. And then I would just do that, like, every day. And I was like, I can't believe I did that. Like, that's crazy. It's not really, though. It's just, you know, you're tired. But once I started working on stuff, like, I had this mentality shift of, like, I can't imagine doing that. And then, like, why was I ever like that? And then this summer, or this fall, when I had, like, nothing but, like, work upon work upon work upon work, I started doing that again, where I would come home and, like, just watch The Simpsons or whatever. And I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. Like, I don't need to be that harsh on that mentality. Like, I understand. I'm fucking exhausted. I don't want to work on video editing with the 3 hours of free time I can have a day. People get tired, it's easy, but also develop habits, you can break them. Yeah, exactly. It's bad for people who do the 80-plus hour work week. They have no idea how much they're missing out enjoying life. Yeah, but I mean, that's like being like, I feel bad for fat people because they don't understand, like, what it, like, they don't understand that they're fat. Like, they get it. They're not happy about it. Like, some people are like, you know, they're fine with the body positivity, but my point is, like, lots of people who have problems are fully aware of those problems. It's not like, I don't know what I'm missing. Like, they're acutely aware of what they're fucking missing. It's 100 times worse than you think it is. Been a freelancer for many years, but at my last job as an employee, my boss literally wanted to make me pay for his mistakes. It was the only job where I quitted without notice. I've definitely quit without notice before. I would say every job I've ever worked, I've quit without notice. Actually, the only one I didn't was a grocery store job I worked. I gave them 2 weeks notice. And then I got barred for life from the grocery store. Because on my last day, I congratulated one of my friends for losing his virginity over the PA. And they were like, the owner was threatening to sue me for sexual harassment. And I was like, you fucking moron. Like, you can't threaten me on behalf of someone else. Like, my friend's not gonna sue me. Also, I just realized how weak I am to Earth. Oh my god. That's because of the heart lore, right? Where did the name Bosco come from? It's just a funny old name. It's like a butler's name. Bosco. Open the door, Bosco. Plus, I can call him the Mighty Mighty Bosco, which is, I think, great. Can I fucking hit an attack? Never had to hit a mochi, but I know someone who has. No, 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 you mudda. Okay. Well, that tournament went about as badly as it could have. I don't even know what the goal is for this. Like, beat the game? How long am I gonna play this game for? Okay, I gotta fight Jinx. Another Raiden? Ooh, it's a metal bird. He's got the exact same stats for every stat. That's super cool. He's got 329 in every stat. Totally believable. Moody. See, like, the stats are so similar for all the monsters, man. Do we risk the explosion? 48% on the explosion? Why is it so likely to hit? Okay, I survived it. He took 3 damage? This is not your mother's explosion. Holy moly. Oh my god, man. I need, like, a counter of how many times I missed that fucking attack. 50%? Come on, dude. It's so funny how he looks like he's gonna punch you, and then he's like, nope. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Testy? Hell of a name. Rocket? Meeting? So you got Meeting and Black Hole again in this game. The breaking glass is so funny, man. Why does he do that? I need stage fatalities? We do. Like, Deadly Alliance style? Like, kick them into the acid? Or I guess the Deadly Alliance didn't have the fatalities, but, like, you could do environmental damage. Just the later ones that, like, you, like, push them into the big press. The big, foundry press that, like, squished them. But yeah, the problem is with every monster being, like, very average, there's no, like, weaknesses that you can exploit, right? Beep boop. I'm the same as every other monster. Somehow the least robotic. He's got barrier up. Okay, so he's gonna take less damage now. That's just not guaranteed in this game like it is in Monster Rancher 3. Okay, that's still a lot of damage. I think it saved you from dying in one hit, though. It was bullish, eh? Dude, what's with the foolery? Fuck off. It's because he's getting old. They literally, like, give old monsters in this game dementia. They start doing foolery when they're, like, super old. If I could combine the best traits of each Monster Rancher game to one, what would I choose from each game? Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's entirely just, like, Monster Rancher 2 and 3. What does Monster Rancher 1 do best? The sprite animations for work? Those are very cute. That's definitely the best part of the game. It's just watching your monster do the little sprite work animations. Watch them, like, pick carrots and stuff. 2, I think, basically does everything else the way I want it to be done. 3 introduced elements. 3 introduced more statuses, like more like attacks that only proc a status. Like, it's not meant to do anything else. It's not meant to do damage. It's just like, okay, now your stats are boosted. Or like Zon has an attack that's just called Step In, and it just moves you from the furthest slot all the way to the front slot. It just like is a, you get in, you spend 1 gut to like teleport behind you. Nothing personnel kid. Shit like that is really sick. And then this game, I don't think it does anything the best. I think it changes a lot of things, and if you like the way it does things, then it makes sense. But like for me, I'm not a big fan of going on the adventures to get like the new attacks and things like that. I like the idea of the old system, which is like you get Bite with Zoom, and then you use Bite 50 times in battle, and you unlock the ability to get Million Bites, which is like Bites 2 or Electric Boogaloo. It's like the stronger version because you've used the attack so much that you have mastered it. UKMR is very good, basically just MR2. UKMR introduces a lot of good stuff. A thing that was introduced in 3 technically, but like kind of got refined in this game, or got refined in Monster Rancher Advance, I should say, is the ability to pick your loadout. In Monster Rancher 3, you can technically pick your loadout, but you have to like kind of finesse it to only have the attacks you want. If I wanted to only run 1 tech in this game, I could. In Monster Rancher 3, you can run up to 4 techniques at the same time, and that's it. Or you can save over old ones. So you can run anywhere between 2 and 4 techniques. But that's something you need to plan from the beginning of the game. This one lets you like mix and match and like test stuff out. This was a feature that was introduced in Monster Rancher Advance. What Monster Rancher Advance did that's really interesting is you can put any tech in any range. Now look at this. This is a short range tech. It can only go in the red slot. This is a mid-range tech. It can only go in the yellow slot in the middle. In Advance, you could take a mid-range tech and put it in the closest slot or the furthest away slot. And basically, the closer it was, the more expensive it was but the higher its stats were. So it got a boost to damage and accuracy and withering and critical hit, but also a boost to its guts cost. So you would have a situation where it's like, this move is like meant for mid, but if I put it in the front, I can like kind of abuse it like better if an opportunity arises where it makes sense for me to spend more guts on it. You can basically like cash out a little bit more. Okay, what are we doing? Officials this week, so it's, I don't even know if we're gonna make it to the next one. We're gonna try. They're so damn cool design-wise. This one's not. Bosco looks so fucking weird, bro. Yeah, he does. I do like Raidens. Especially in Monster Rancher 3. I love Pen Pen. I love Pelagoon. I love Cowbird. They're all great. Why is Bosco the oldest looking 4-year-old since Benjamin Button? He was born this way, brother. Shouldn't shame strong genes. He's got the personality. He was born with personality. Seeing Lesion makes me want to go back to 3, because the last monster I was raising in 3 was a competitive Lesion, and I kind of want to run another tournament. That's going to do big damage? Yeah, it did okay damage. I got slowed, though? He thinks I'm slow, eh? Come on. The normalization of guts rate in 4 is pretty obnoxious. It's like, monsters don't have an identity by having like a fast guts rate or a slow guts rate. I hit that 9% earlier today, and it's just been like, the game's like, yeah, you got it. You got your 1. 50% though? Never. 40%? Okay. Some good damage. We're still in there. Is it enough? It's not, but I got enough guts to attack again. No! Okay, we dodged. We're in there. I can't even let the clock run out. Look at... There's been like 3 seconds have gone by. Dude, it's like 40%! Come on! Holy shit. I hate this game so much, man. The fact that you can't run down the clock is like unbelievably annoying. Like, what a bad system. Why does this keep happening? Skill issue? Yeah, like literally. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. How do you like Monster Rancher 2 versus Monster Rancher 4? It's not even comparable. Monster Rancher 2 is like 100 times better. So it's like, it's not a bad game. I try not to be too hard on it, but it's very hard to play it in a vacuum outside of what came before it, right? You're looking at all the monsters right now. There's a lot of cool monsters in it, even though I'm going to be completely honest. I think the thing that sours me the most is I don't like the like ultra PS2 graphics. I'm not a big fan of like how muted and like earth tony everything is, even though I'm a big like earth tone fan. It kills the whimsy and the vibe. I don't know. I think it's worse than Evo. No, Evo's like unplayably bad. That game's like actually dog ass. It's the story is really stupid. The traversal, the movement feels like shit. It's so awful. The mini games suck. They're not fun. They're repetitive. The actual combat is fun, but extremely exploitable to the point where it's like, okay, it's not fun anymore because I can just like easily bullshit my way through this. Don't talk about my marvelous mobs. The problem, above all else, is that Monster Rancher 3 did not sell very well. So they're like, we gotta change some stuff. And then they tried to make it like other games that were popular at the time, and that was a mistake because this game sold even worse than Monster Rancher 3. They didn't realize it was just a weak IP. The games industry now is so much bigger than it's ever been, and like people kind of have a hard time understanding, right? Because if you look at, you'll say something like Street Fighter 2 for decades was the best-selling game of all time. Things that sell like 1 million copies now are like, that's not considered good anymore. Monster Rancher 1 in North America sold about 1 million copies. Monster Rancher 2 sold about 2 million copies, which is like a financial success. Monster Rancher 3 sold a couple 100,000. This game sold less than that. Evo sold 20,000 fucking copies in North America. It did so bad that it like bankrupted the company. I don't know what goes on, right? I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. It's more complicated than one guy made a suggestion and things like fell apart, right? But there is a story where after Monster Rancher 4 came out and it did kind of badly, there was a meeting between someone at Tecmo. I don't know if they were a community manager or if they were like brass. I don't know exactly who the person was, but there was someone in the decision making. They had some executive pull, whatever it was. They met with Lisa Shock. Lisa Shock was the person who owned Monster Rancher Metropolis, one of the most like outspoken champions for the game. And they had a meeting and they were like, what do Monster Rancher fans want? The last game didn't do well. What do Monster Rancher fans want? And she explained it to them. They're like, look, like the story is a little aggressive. We don't want like that much story. It's nice to just be able to do what you want without being railroaded. And basically explaining like Monster Rancher 2 was great. If you want to add to that, I think people will really enjoy it, but this is like what they liked. And they're like, cool. We're going to do the exact fucking opposite of that. We're going to make Monster Rancher Evo because our fan base is too small. So we have to do basically not what the fans want, but like what will sell to a bigger audience. And so I don't know exactly how that broken telephone happened. I don't know if that was literally the intent where they're like, we got to do the exact opposite of everything she said. Or if, you know, they already had plans in place and like, I don't know. I don't know. But it does suck that they had the fucking conversation and then it was literally like entirely story-based, turn-based fights. Like it's technically like real time, but it's much more close to like a turn-based type of thing in Evo than, you know, the real time of Monster Rancher 1, 2, and 3. I wouldn't even call this fucking real time, to be honest. I'm only stalling on this because it says Nash, by the way, and I think that's sick as hell. It's a Monster Rancher game in the way that Simpsons Bowling is a Simpsons game and not just like a bowling game with Simpsons characters, right? Like if you get the, like, you understand what I mean? It's like, it's a game they made and then they put like the Monster Rancher IP on it. Me and Nash just chilling. What's Scooby doing? Scooby don't. Look at this. Get him with the kick. Oh, I thought I was gonna spook him. Damn, he had like 80%. I love that missed. Okay, that's quite a bit of damage. But I can do a little bit more. That onion looks like a pumpkin. Also, he's kind of got an interesting stat line. He's still pretty average. It's just that they gave him a lot of defense and not a lot of speed. I don't want to get withered. Don't hit me. I just want him to waste some guts. I guess I don't really care. You die the same as the rest of them. My boy Poncho, I'm sorry I had to do this to you. Okay, are we going to get a perfect bracket? This is not as unrealistic. Yeah, if we win, we get a perfect bracket, which is crazy. But Monster Rancher 3 onward, they stopped the battle outcomes being random. It's only truly random in Monster Rancher 2. In Monster Rancher 1, they would favor certain monsters. In Monster Rancher 2, it's 50-50 shot for any monster to win any fight. That's how you see stuff like Nats beating Sleep Bomb, or like KOing Sleep Bomb in the Freshman Cup. Like, that's not possible. Nats isn't doing 300 damage. In this, it actually takes a look at the stats, and it runs a tiny sim. Anyway, this guy, is the vibe that he's wearing like a racing suit? Like a leather racing suit? Like, that's the vibe? I'm Spartax. They didn't have enough letters for Spartacus. It's pretty funny. You like the way Dragon looks in Monster Rancher Advance 1 most? Are you kidding? I'm sorry, I can't let this go. We gotta talk about this. Let's take a real quick look. Oh my god. You love it? It's just Monster Rancher 2, though. It's just Monster Rancher 2 Dragon digitized. Is that Rastor? No, I'll show you Rastor. There you go. They put Rastor in this? Same character. Corporate wants you to find the difference between these two pictures. Rano would be hell of a Monster Rancher monster? Yeah. Well, I mean, they kind of made that. They made Fat Rano with Quasimo. We're going to be fighting guys in rank S. There's like such a huge jump in this game. It's kind of crazy. You got like E rank, which is like everyone sucks. D rank is like, you know, everyone's got like 150, like 200 most stats. Or in like half the stats. C is like everyone's got like 250 and like the stats they're good in. B is they've got about 250 in all their stats. So like there's like no jump at all. And then A, they have 400 for every stat from 200 to 250. And then S is they have 600 in every stat. So it goes from like the first 4 ranks are like all basically, there's like very little growth for any of the monsters. But what we're looking to do right now is we're looking to abuse the system in the game. There's a counter system in this game where you press a button and you like counterattack what your opponent's doing. But what you can do is just simply never encounter the tutorial for it because it's not unlocked at the beginning of the game. Honestly, I think it probably was a good call on their part to not unlock it at the beginning of the game because you would have like way too much tutorial to sit through. If you never have more than 1 monster on the ranch at a time, you never unlock the cutscene that like, and the tutorial. See, look at, I'm like completely fucking outclassed now. Everyone went from like 400 in every stat to 600 in every stat. But in rank B, everyone had 200 in every stat. Happy little loopholes. Yeah, the counter system is not fun. I got 13% chance to hit. We're super smashing, brother. I don't think so. No. Okay. We're not built for this life. Do the monsters have any longer of a lifespan? No, they actually have significantly shorter of a lifespan. 4 years is like the average. And not like the average in like if you play the game not knowing how items work and stuff like in Monster Rancher 2, 4 years is about the average. Even though the monsters can and like often do live like 8+ years in that game. In this game, like we're like ultra old man. Can you get to S rank? I just punched stuff. I used my monster's 1 good attack with a fire element on it, so he was just doing a shit ton of damage. And that was it. And 2, they feel like they need longer lifespans. 2 is a difficult game. It's like, if you don't understand how the game works, it's very difficult to play it. And because it never really explains to you all the hidden mechanics and stuff, some people have problems with that, but I think it's fine because, you know, the whole point is that you're not supposed to understand how to do genetic engineering right out of the gate. It's one of those things where it's like, it's fine if it's like, you know, you've trained for it. Did they make this game easier to understand? I felt Monster Rancher 2 wasn't easy to understand. No, so here's the thing. People want to play video games in like a I am a god, like, you know, I'm the most powerful being in the universe type vibe, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But Monster Rancher is like literally like you're a farmer. So until you learn like all the tricks and like how to use items correctly, it's kind of like unbelievably difficult. Cannot control its body anymore? Alright. So here's something funny we can do. So what I'm trying to do is on the week he's going to die, I want to go get another monster. And I want to bring him on an adventure with me. Because I can basically carry a brand new monster through the adventure, get a bunch of stats. Or a bunch of new techs, I should say. Okay, so I have a month. He dies on the 4th, on the first week. So on the first week, we have to go to town. Did I get a copyright strike for the Investigate 311? No, I did not. But yeah, what I'm getting at is I can go get a monster because it doesn't carry over. It doesn't try to give you the tutorial until the week after you get your second monster. So if I only ever have 1 monster on the ranch, I can abuse it. Okay, so I want to get one of these guys. Rhino Roller, Queen Roller, Skunk Roller, Raga Roller. We're not getting Lloyd. This dude's got 10 intelligence. He starts with 225 power. Real funny would be picking a different monster. Like, just pick Durahan, be like, yeah, we're gonna beat the game. We're gonna easy mode it. Alright, what are we gonna name it? I think Billy is probably a good name. Because he's Rockabilly. You get it? Wheelie Hard? You only... Killdozer? Okay. We'll have to, like, get creative because there's only 8 letters. Killdozer is pretty good, though. Killdozer is Dave the Barbarian. Killdozer is a real thing. Killdozer was a guy who went crazy because a town wouldn't let him dump his sewage in his yard. And so he became a stochastic terrorist. And then he became a real terrorist and was like, I'm going to build a giant machine that was basically a tank mixed with a bulldozer, and I'm gonna drive it into the public library in an attempt to kill people because they won't let me dump raw sewage in my yard. And he's become kind of like a folk hero for like the stupidest people on the planet who are like, yeah, stick it to the man. I wish we could fit Barney Rumble, Frank Flintstorm, or Fred Flintstorm. Frank? Who's Frank? Fred Flintstorm and Barney Rumble. Just name him terrorist. Dude, when I was a kid, this is gonna get me put on a list. There was, I forget, it was like a fucking Streets of Rage game or whatever. I saw it in like a Nintendo Power or whatever. It was an ad or whatever it was. They were doing a review on the game maybe or something. But one of the like enemies in like the beat 'em up, his name was just Terrorist. And he looked cool as hell. And I'm like, Mom, when I grow up, I want to be a terrorist. She's like, what the fuck? Don't say that. So that once the second monster weird game mechanics start? Correct. Which is why we're doing this exactly the way we're doing it right now. So here's what we're going to do. He dies next week. So we're going to go on an adventure. It's so funny, adding this guy to this guy only gives me like an extra 100. So I haven't got the tutorial yet, right? And what's going to happen is since he's going to like pass away at the end of this week, I don't have to worry about it. Because he's going to go bye-bye. He's going to say, bye, Daddy, I'm dying. And then we'll only have one monster on the ranch, and it won't proc the tutorial.
Bye, Daddy. I'm dying.
Prometheus Ruins is like a pretty big step up, difficulty-wise, from the last ones we were doing. Oh, okay, true. This is like a doorway, obviously, but I guess not. What? Anyway, we're not necessarily worried about like beating this. All we're doing is we're just trying to level up our second guy. And it's like Pokemon with experience share. Dude, fuck off. This as a mechanic is like so stupid. You see, this guy gets 290 experience and then this one gets half of it. Because he didn't fight at all. But because he's level 1, it's pretty good still. And the Prometheus Ruins Plus, which is like you unlock extra hard versions of these dungeons as you play the game, made me quit last time because I was just like not having any fun at all. Oh, they rip out the heart of the monster feed to the new one? No, that's Monster Rancher 3. In this one, it's like your monster can't compete anymore, can't control its body. It's time to put it in the freezer. It won't let your monster die. The fact I do like just not enough to kill him sucks. But we gave him the policy, so it's okay. Okay, relax. So those are got sniper. We got bird combo and backspin. So we finally got the bird combo, which is a sick move. We do some Hadoukens. Let's go second floor. And also, if we manage to like beat this dungeon, that's just good for us for advancing. Bird combo. We got him. It's kind of cool how in like Monster Rancher 2, your monster can ask for items, and most of them do like literally nothing except like reduce 1 stress. You spend like $700 on the yarn ball or whatever, and it reduces 1 stress. This game does that too, where you get a million items that don't do anything, but you can give them to your monster whenever you want. Dude, potatoes increase stress even when asked for it? No! Ah, fuck. I was not paying attention. This kind of sucks. Whatever. At least we did some story stuff. Bosco cannot control his body anymore. It would have been nice to like grind it out and like do way more. But being a couple levels in is fine.